Hello everyone, I'm Bill Shanks from the SuperStations, our radio station that's in Macon, Warner Robins, Pinehurst, Rochelle, Fort Valley, Brunswick, Blackshear, Waycross, and Savannah, and all over the world online at thesuperstations.com. You can join me for the Bill Shanks Show every weekday afternoon from 3 until 7, and of course don't forget the Jeff Dancer Show from 12 until 1, plus Southeast Georgia, or Southeastern Sports Talk I should say, with Bill King, Mike Race, and also Chuck Oliver. All right, we're going to talk a little Braves baseball here. I hope you heard my interview with Walt Weiss, the new manager of the Atlanta Braves, on Friday. We will put it in the Twitter tweet so you can listen to it if you'd like. Very impressed with Walt. Look, I went into this situation with the Braves trying to find a new manager almost apathetic. I didn't care what they did. I mean, I guess there were a couple, John Gibbons, I really wasn't excited about. I didn't think they would hire Walt Weiss. I thought they would go in a different direction. That surprised me obviously a little bit, but I think it's a fine choice. He's a fine man. I'm not saying that because I know him. I don't really know him that well. I've only interviewed him a couple of times, including Friday. But I think if he's going to continue the Bobby Cox lineage, I'm fine with that. I have no problem with that. And look, it's been very successful. I know they should have won more than 2 World Series in the last 35 years. I get it. But it's been very successful. And Walt Weiss, I think, will be a continuation of that philosophy. And regardless of who the manager is for the Braves, they have got to have better talent. And that's what I think is going to be interesting to watch moving forward. We've got the GM meetings coming up, and then, of course, the winter meetings in several weeks, which are going to be really fun to see how this all plays out. Now, after all the moves late last week, with the Braves not picking up the options on Pierce Johnson and Tyler Kinley, the Braves have a lot of room to play with financially. Now, the tax threshold, the amount that you have to stay below, or you'll have to pay a tax for how much you go over that amount, is $244 million. The Braves stayed below that amount of $241 million last year, so they could reset their tax percentage down back to 20%. Now that means if they spend $10 million over the $244 million, that's $2 million they'd have to pay as a tax, okay? So they could go to 254, they could go to 264. That'd be $4 million they'd have to pay into the fund for the tax. Braves didn't do that last year because they wanted to reset the tax percentage. But if you look at the 12 guaranteed contracts, the 12 contracts that now have been set up for the upcoming year, and that is Matt Olson, Austin Riley, Spencer Strider, Ronald Acuna, Sean Murphy, Jurickson Profar, Reynaldo Lopez, Aaron Bummer, Joe Jimenez, Michael Harris, and now Chris Sale and also Ozzie Albies. That is a total of $176.5 million in real dollars they'll pay to those 12 players. But when it comes to the tax number, that's only $152.5 million, which means for the rest of their payroll, they would have, if they wanted to stay below that amount of $244 million, they would have $91.4 million to play with. Now, if you want to say $15 million is going to go to arbitration cases, to young players, etc., okay, that means you'd be at 167 and you'd still have about $75 million of luxury tax spending that you can do to improve this ball club. That means there's a significant amount of money for them to make moves, trades, free agent signings to make this team better than what it was last year. And we all know they have significant needs on this team. They need a closer. They need more than one starting pitcher. They may need more bullpen help, even with the questions about whether Lopez will be in the bullpen, or about Joe Jimenez, Joe Jimenez has had another knee surgery. He's a question mark. And then you have, of course, the issue at shortstop. That's a problem. You got to fix it. You also need to see what you're going to do at DH. That's an issue as well, right? Ozuna is not coming back. So that's 5 main needs: reliever, starting pitcher, shortstop, DH, and I said 5 because you really need more than one pitcher for the rotation. You got to add like 5 or 6 significant pieces here to this puzzle. Now, I could go over the free agent list with you, and there's a ton of people out there that could fit that starting pitcher's need. I'd love Dylan Cease. He's from Milton, Georgia, 20 miles north of Truist Park. That'd be unbelievable. He's a Scott Boras client, so obviously it may not be realistic. But he's an innings eater. He's very good. But there are so many others out there. I mean, my gosh, Chris Bassett. You've got Max Scherzer. I'd take him in a heartbeat. I mean, you've got a ton of pitchers that are out there. And I hope the Braves bring in 3 of them. I'd bring in like a Steven Matz on a smaller deal just for the hell of it. Also, we've got to watch both Mets and Giants free agent pitchers because the Braves hired, obviously, Jeremy Hefner as their new pitching coach from New York. So any pitcher that he's worked with over the last 6 years that may be a free agent, you got to kind of consider him. And then JP Martinez is the new bullpen coach, and he was the pitching coach for San Francisco last season. So there may be one on that list as well. So you've got to consider that. But again, even if you say there's $15 million going to arbitration cases, or even 20, even if you want to say 20 million, all right, that means you got $70 million to play with when it comes to the luxury tax to stay below it. So we're getting ready for a lot of activity here. A lot of activity. They need a new closer. They could bring Rochelle Iglesias back. There's no question about that. There was interest in getting that done before the season was over, and it didn't happen. But what if the Braves purged Edwin Diaz from the Mets? Can you only imagine what that would be if they stole one of, if not the best closers in the game from the New York Mets, their arch rival? And I don't think that's out of the question at all. That would be unbelievable. Now, as far as the shortstop is concerned, they're not going to sign Bo Bichette. First of all, he needs to move to second base. He doesn't need to play shortstop anymore. Shortstop I won't. And I heard the Braves had some interest in him during the summer. I don't know where it went. Obviously, they didn't get him. It's Corey Seager. Now, is that pie in the sky? Oh, yeah. And he's due for the next 6 years, $30+ million. So Alex would have to wield his magic to get Texas to eat some of that money to get him down closer to where those other players like Olsen and Riley and Strider are in the low 20s. But he could do it. I wouldn't be surprised. And if the Rangers, who have been reported, they're going to cut payroll, would be interested in a package of prospects. The Braves do have a package of prospects. Now, you may think, well, the farm system's not that good, but there are tradable commodities in that farm system that they could get a big deal done. I'm not saying I've heard this. I don't know. I'm just saying, all right, if I had to pick who would I target, if I were the GM, we all know I should be, I'd target Corey Seager in a heartbeat. And look, I have a man crush on Corey Seager, and here's why. I was with the Braves like the week or month or whatever it was, very early when Corey Seager got called up to the big leagues in Los Angeles with the Dodgers. He had 3 home runs all for the Braves in one game, and I saw it. And I saw that kid's swing, and I'm like, oh my God, this kid's going to be a great, great player. And he did. He became a great, great player. So I would love Corey Seager. Marcus Semien plays second base. I mean, could they make Ozzie the DH and put Semien at second base, get his contract? He's only got 3 more years left on his deal. He is 35, though, and his hitting has not been great the last couple of years as far as his batting average. Seager can hit. Look, Corey Seager, if he has 6 healthy years and 6 seasons of really good production, he's like borderline Hall of Fame talk. He's got that kind of potential. He's really had a great career. So I love Corey Seager. I think that would be unbelievable. You wonder if they'd revisit with the Twins the Brian Buxton situation. They had conversations with Minnesota about him, and reportedly he said no. But you know what? He may feel differently now that he sees the direction the Twins are going in, which is as a rebuilding team and not a team that's going to contend in the American League Central Division. So, look, it's going to be a fun offseason. There's a lot to do for Alex Anthopoulos, and this is on him. He's got to improve this roster. He's never had to improve the roster before after they've had a losing season, because this is the first time in his tenure they've had a losing season. So this has got him under the gun a little bit to try to have kind of a home run offseason, and he's got a lot of work to do. Starting pitchers, plural, closer, shortstop, DH. Yeah, they need a lot. But again, they got a lot of money to spend. They really, really do. We'll continue to monitor all the offseason activity. Of course, talk Braves baseball almost every day on our show. And again, don't forget, check out the Walt Weiss interview. It's listed here in this tweet online at thesuperstations.com. Join us every weekday from 3 until 7 on The Bill Shanks Show. Thanks for watching. And my clicker don't work.